especially rain.
Hang on. Okay, it says we're live, so hopefully that's good.
All right, it is 7:02 p.m., so we'll call the 2025 Board of Education regular meeting to order. This meeting is being held in compliance with the Nebraska Open Meetings Act, copy of which is on the wall right there. And with that, we will take roll.
Hang on.
Thank you. Yep. Jason Arp.
Here.
Chase Craddock.
Here.
Brian Locker.
Here.
Shannon Woolman. Steve Slykeis.
Here. All right, everybody see here is the one. We'll go to the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, agenda item 1.4 is motion to approve the regular meeting agenda. I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the regular meeting agenda as presented.
Second.
Thank you, Cass and Steve. It's a move and second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, let's vote.
Brian Locker.
Yes.
Steve Slykeis.
Yes.
Shannon Woolman.
Sorry.
Jason Arp.
Yes.
Cassie Flannery.
Yes.
Chase Craddock.
Yes. Motion carries. Agenda item 2 is welcome to guests and public forum. Is there anybody here that would like to address the board this evening? If not, just listening mode. All right, we move on to the consent agenda, item 3. Here you will see this from the previous board meeting last month. Monthly financials, I'll pull up here. So you'll see a couple things on the first page. There's that interfund transfer that's pretty normal from hot lunch fund. And everything else there is pretty normal for this time of year. And then the check register, I'll go down a couple of things that Dr. Lewis and I talked about. So you'll see a pane on the fence of the football field. That's going to defend the north side that runs behind the bleachers.
Yeah, it's the black wrought iron fence.
Yep.
It's not the chain link.
No, that runs on the south side and other areas. And then you'll see the bus ride for 9900. That was part of, if you recall, last month we had some other for that bus technology for the kids to check in when they come onto the bus. This now is going to be the licenses for all the individual buses. So you license it per bus. And then due to us getting a new bus and then our backup bus, the licenses were a little more expensive than they have been. And then
We're running 5 routes instead of 4 as well.
So that's why you'll see that. Let me see here. Some projectors going into the new school year. You'll see there repairs to HVAC. I wanted to highlight that. You'll probably see some more on that next month, Dr. Lewis.
Yes, there will be some additional next month. A couple of these were before that we had a lightning strike, a really bad lightning from about 3 weeks ago. Knocked out 3 of them pretty good. So those will be covered by our insurance. Those 3 sustained about $12,000 of damage. I believe one of the bills for that is in this, and the other ones we have not gotten the invoices yet. So we'll get the cost of those minus the deductible for the occurrence back for those.
You'll see some fees here. ESU, obviously, we're in the ESU 3 district. So you'll see some things there that we partner with them on. You'll see that van 13 windshield. So that is one of the vans that we can currently use under the new restrictions. So that's why you see that on there. Bus barn repairs, that's the overhead doors on the bus barn. We had some issues with that. Uh, So, and then same thing with, in the CT area, the shop, some repairs to that door as well. Some miscellaneous repairs, on 2 of the buses, you'll see, and then I think, you'll see McKinnis, obviously coming off the heels of our rain conversation. Every time it rains, we keep finding some leaks. So McGinnis has been out a couple of times to repair those that we end up finding after these heavy rains. And then I believe you'll see some other subscriptions going into the new school year. That was the only thing I believe Dr. Lewis and I kind of talked about a little more in depth, just being a little more unique on the check register. Did anybody have any clarifying things in addition to those on the check register, what they are, what they're for, anything like that?
Well, just like you, the bill is very large, that had some of the computer purchases that we had to do on that. They were cheaper to go away than through some other companies.
I was just curious how many that was. It was $18,000 worth. How many laptops was it?
I think that those, was that the 60 iPads?
And something
And
else, and
teacher Chromebooks, maybe?
maybe, I can,
Oh, yeah.
Not again. Yeah, we have to go back and.
That was part of, we talked about that purchase at the board retreat.
Yep.
Yeah, and we
We
purchased
had to
in
break
June,
it, we had
yeah.
to break it down due to a credit card limit we discovered. So this is the second of that,
Yeah.
of the purchase. So it was
That's a
broken
really
down
good,
Yeah.
we got a really good deal then. That's, I was
Yeah,
just
no, they
curious.
are.
I was
It-
really curious about
We
that.
did, and Dan worked really hard to get the deal on those, and the business center or whatever it is on Amazon bids and best, or they do the vetting for us, and they find us the best prices, so it was a good deal, it was.
And I'm assuming there's just more this month because we're back to school.
yep, all the
Basically,
supplies
that's
for
what I
each
was seeing, all
classroom,
the-
yep,
yeah.
yes, that's what all of that is.
And all of these supplies on like the Visa bill, they've already been things that have been approved by
Yes.
the building level,
Yes.
like that teacher's
Yep.
budget. Okay. On the painting of the fence, will that be in activities? Will that come out of the activities budget or the buildings and grounds
Facilities,
maintenance?
Yeah, facilities.
You'll see, on the 3rd page of the check register form, you'll see the special fund. So you'll see the transfer to depreciation for vehicles and those other items that we talked about for a couple months now. And then also, the bill for the new cameras and video storage that we've also talked about for a little while.
Yeah, that's partial payment, that's about half of it.
Yep. And then going to page 5, just to clarify here, you'll see the top part of the check register portion is voided out. That was due to it being in 2 different areas. So you'll see that on page 7, I believe, as well. So you can just ignore the voided out one as it just printed double. So that's why you see that.
I didn't made that to the wrong vendor, so.
And then you'll see the activity balances, not much huge changes from last week, a couple accounts negative, we talked about athletics with that transfer, cheerleading, the number will go slowly up and up as they look to pay for those items.
They're due the end of August, so it'll be before next month, that number should be not negative anymore for cheer.
They get new uniforms or something? Is that what they-
Yeah, they kind of redid, there were several new cheerleaders, and then it's really the first year that Coach Bree got into like, because they had ordered and done all of that before she actually took over, so it's kind of a reset year, so, yeah, they got one. And everybody's working on paying their bills through fundraisers and summer jobs and things like that, they're all due before the end of August.
And then the last page on there, you'll see receipts, expenditures, and things like that.
Sorry,
Percent. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, Sushi.
Is there, do we have like a slush fund or like a scholarship if we, like, those bills that you were saying, if they, you know, come up short? Is there money to pull?
Like for, yes, and yeah, there kind of is. It's called, we probably take it for hours for kids. So stuff we did, it's part of like our student fees policy, so if there's something, but like to a certain extent, they know before they get into it, so. And they know that there are going to be those costs, and so, yeah. So, in particular, like if a student qualifies for the event, participate, and there's a fee associated with that, we'll probably pay that more than the ones that they choose to incur. I mean, so, but with, the organization does run fundraisers and things like that to help the kids that aren't in the summer jobs or whatever. Basically, student fees.
And then the last page, percents received in last year's overtime. I think we've talked a little bit about the differences in those numbers with preschool, with the peer modeling, and then some county aid, the sped, reimbursement being very well this year, things like that. Nothing too different than the last couple of months we've discussed those items. Before I move on to the next item, is there any questions at all on financials? Okay. And then you'll see 2 new hires in there. I want to highlight one part-time mechanic. So we'll have mechanic now. That sounds like you do maybe a little more on bus needs when those things prop up. So good having
Yeah,
him here.
he's actually done a couple things already for us, so he's
Perfect.
working in the evenings. Yeah, Randy's still moving his stuff.
With that, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Jason, any further discussion? Let's vote.
Steve Slyguys,
Yes.
Sharon Wilmot, Jason Art,
Yes.
Cassie Plessner, yes, Brad Bill,
Yes.
Brian Locker.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Curriculum instruction report. Dr. Morgan.
Yes, well, you know, it was summer, but you'd think it wasn't, we were pretty busy. 89 kids at STEAM camp this summer, that's that summer school offering that we have. We hovered right between 80 and 90 members, and we're holding true to that, so good stuff there. We had 15 special education students, K-12, that were working through some extended school, so different between those. STEAM is 4 days a week, 8:30 to 11:30, Monday through Thursday, just the month of June. Extended school year, depending on IE, they're here 1 or 2 days a week through June and July. Kindergarten night, we just had it, 45 new families coming in, super. We talked to parents about different things. They get to see the classroom. We all eat dinner together. It's fabulous, and PTO provide that dinner, so super good stuff there. Just a little thank you to PTO. Obviously, if you were out and about tonight, they got some Scoops ice cream up there up front. It's delicious. I did have some before I came down here for open house night. And then we had dinner, like I said, at kindergarten night. Also, if you head on down to the elementary and check it out, there's a kind of a tie there. PTO purchased the TV for us that's now in our entryway that will scroll things, events, and pictures and fun things that are going on in the elementary. And then Cord Shear did the casing around it, which he did the little door gate looking thing on what's known as the fishbowl in that front area, so they match. It's very cute. So thank you on that side as well. And then Sorensen for those families that came in for open house night, donated tickets for 400 families to get into the Storm Chasers game on Sunday, and it's a family of 4 each ticket. So pretty awesome. Arlington's gonna open the Storm Chasers game on Sunday. So it's exciting. That's us. And we're just ready for kids. So fun being on the elementary side. It's a very different look on the sides. Like elementary kids coming in are like super excited. They're back to school. 100% of them are like ready to be back. 100% of the parents ready to have them back. And then it's just a fun energy down there. So I think it's a little different on the high school side where they're like, wah.
Exactly.
We are. I don't know, I feel like there's a little buzz, but it's good stuff.
Sure, yeah.
He's in my 10%. He's in my 10%. We'll roll him in, don't you worry.
All right, Trace is not here.
He's here, he's just not in the room. They are busy with their parent and student meetings, back to school stuff this year.
So his report is there in the meeting. We talked a little bit about American civics. So they will need to, that committee will need to schedule a meeting very soon here.
Normally, we would have done it this evening, the first board meeting back to school, but with all these meetings and things like that, before then, we couldn't. So probably no, October. Is that the budget?
Okay, we do that with Mr. Finkston? He's
Yes.
not here to do it, he is here to schedule that?
I mean, usually I schedule it and
Okay.
just ask him. It's usually before a board meeting, so I think it'd be safe to say October is gonna be good. He doesn't miss many board meetings. It's just his day is busy with getting kids back to school.
Okay. And
September would be bad for everyone else in this room because it's the budget hearings and things like that.
Yep.
So
Okay.
probably be October.
And yeah, they're doing Role Navigator, they'll have that back for a third year, he'll be here once a week on resources and academic progress. And he'll include information on the cell phone expectations. We talked about this in the policy, things I'm trying to pull it up here.
My only question now, we had not talked about watches when we were talking.
We did, we talked about personal electronic devices,
Yeah,
so.
it's in there. I just don't remember the last board meeting when we discussed it.
I think it was probably when we were approving the handbook change, we talked about that. So they'll have to be disconnected from their phones, like those guys Bluetooth. If the phones are off and no offers, they shouldn't be connected Bluetooth anymore.
Yeah.
But if we find the students are communicating with those, it's the same as them having a cell phone. So
So that
it'd be
would
the
be a
same.
little trickier with many smartwatches.
Yeah,
And they're
there's
using it for
quite a
health and
few.
fitness and
Yeah.
everything else, so
And they, as long as they're disconnected from, I mean, because I can leave my phone on my desk and I can go for a walk around the block and record my fitness
Sure.
and everything like that, but it's not connected to my phone and I can't get messages and things, so. And of course, telling time. Different things like that. What watches just used to be exclusively for, but yes. So there are going to be some questions that arise when you're certain once school begins about those things, but we'll try and be as clear as possible. So I'm sure that Aaron and James are talking about those things with kids as they come tonight, and then we'll have that to school assembly and go over these changes tomorrow, so all 7th through 12th graders will hear that. It's not a big change at all for elementary, but it will be a big change.
And when it said again that we can do it on their lunch hour. But does that have to be outside like the others? It said sidewalks, they could do that in the lunch room if they're on lunch
Yeah, no,
hour?
it can be in
That's
the
what it
lunchroom,
said.
and in the morning, it doesn't have to be, they can have them in the mornings here before that first bell rings. It's not exclusive to like being outside in the parking lots or the sidewalks, they can be in the school with their phones before the bell rings in the morning, so up until 8:05, but they just have to be off and in their lockers or in their bags.
I just didn't know what kind of enforcement issues that could raise when people are eating at all different times. Well,
Yeah,
I'm just going to my lunch, that's why I have my phone. I mean,
well, if they're in the lunchroom, it won't be an issue, and we know well enough. I mean, we know
good
who's
point.
going, and we're always in there, so there's supervision in the lunchroom at every lunch period in the hall as they're coming down and everything like that, so we know.
it'll just be a
Yeah,
habit
it's-
forming thing, but after
Yeah.
2 weeks, it'll be, you'll be
Yeah.
used to it. But the first 2 weeks can be fun.
And then Mr. Finkston put a list of the new teachers on there that have an overlap on the building side down here. So that was there. Moving on to agenda item 6, superintendent's report, Dr. Lewis.
Yes. So I've attached first the our family count usage report for the year, last year from June 2024 to May 2025. That's how they're run. So, let's go down to, my favorite is the one with the chart. So go down to about page 3 if you're looking at that. That's what I have on there too. You can see how our usage was up, and it gives it that kind of 5-year comparison, because I believe we've been with probably 6, maybe 7 years now, but they give us that 5 years. So 46 is almost our highest year that we've had yet. So we're getting good use out of this for our students and for our staff members and for their family members. So it's good to see that we're providing this that people are feeling more and more comfortable using. If you go to the next page, we kind of look at concerns by occurrence. And so by far, our highest usage reports are for anxiety. And then you throw depression in there a little bit. That is a good chunk of our referrals there for mental health.
I was just curious, they gave you a year over year on the others. Have they ever given you a year over year on that? Has that stayed consistent too, that we find the same things?
I could pull them all up and look, but they haven't given me that side
No,
by
that's-
side comparison. I will say, coming out of COVID, probably anxiety has always been probably the highest use, and then some stress there, like you look, some relationships, family conflict, that kind of thing. I think that these are pretty standard,
Sure.
pretty typical of what we've seen. But yeah, I could pull the last 4 years
No,
and send it out
No
to
need.
you.
I wondered if over time, as you've seen it, it's fairly consistent in its use, you think, if that's fine.
Yeah, I'm
We haven't seen
pretty
a
sure
spike
it's
of any
pretty
one or two.
consistent. Yeah, we haven't, maybe some years that there's a little bit more with, like some of the, we had a couple of years where we had several students lose family members and things like that. So we might have a little bit more grief loss those years. I think in general, I would say that anxiety, depression, and those relationships are, yeah.
Thank you.
So it's good to see that is up. The cost really hasn't increased that much for us, except for the on-site hours that we added for students. We paid for those for 2 or 3 years with ESSER's funds, which was nice. And now we're on our own, but that counselor sees a lot of kids in that half a day every year. So it's a good deal. Those are some good questions I have about that. And then we have our enrollment reports, and this is as of last Friday, and of course, numbers have changed just a little bit already since last Friday, but I'll tell you exactly what they are. But the green, I can tell you, is where we ended the school year at 701, and then the yellow is where we were last Friday when I put this report together. So,
Hopefully all,
we had 3 new today, but we were down 4 in one other, so it's probably gonna be about the same.
About the same.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be about the same, because four had dropped out, but Jackie just said 3 new ones showed up today.
City's prepared.
It's great.
So Dr. Lewis and I talked a little bit about this. These numbers are gonna change, obviously. The biggest takeaway I took away from it was the numbers are actually on the 7-12 end. You'll see the increase as compared to final June 25. So a difference of 31 on the high school 7-12 end, and then down a little bit on the preschool 6 end on Jackie's end of the, and that's why you'll see a couple of Jackie's
Yeah.
classrooms, the ratio a little smaller this year, which I know when we spoke to a couple teachers at the luncheon, they were very excited for the small classrooms, especially in the kindergarten, and I think, which is good. But we're gonna monitor that. We'll see where we are, because it's a little bit of a jump, but we'll see where the numbers come in, because as Dr. Lewis and Jackie just said, that it's changing by the day.
By the moment,
Right.
right, and again, it'll, like, this September, we'll put another report on there in September, because that will be, okay, we've settled it now, probably, and then October 1st is really the snapshot where a lot of our numbers are based on, so we'll probably have pretty frequent enrollment reports here for the next couple of months, and then we'll probably report again in January and then in March, but just so you know, things change, they come and they go.
Yeah, pretty good class sizes.
Yeah.
Dr. Lewis and I talked a little bit, it's easier to absorb the numbers on the 7-12 end than the littles end, with those classroom sizes and classroom capacities, so, but we'll see if it's just a blip this year or what it looks like going to more into the school year, so.
Well, and we've had years, I don't know if it was the beginning of the year last year, it doesn't look like it, but maybe the year prior, where we had that first enrollment report, and we're like, oh my gosh, and it looked like it was close to like, oh, a little bit higher than this, maybe even, and then it had kind of leveled out to that 710, but you have, never mind, you just have unusual family circumstances once in a while that you think you're going to have in some, so. All right, and then your NERC and your NSP reports are attached. You may read those at your leisure.
Agenda item 7, committee and representatives, 7.1 buildings and grounds.
It was less of a formal meeting and more of a walk around, so if anybody would like to report on that, we just looked in all of the nooks and crannies and buildings and just saw that everything was as ready as it could be, with a little bit of camera work being done yet and a little bit of roof leakage because it had just rained. But those are getting all taken care of now until it rains again. But if you guys want to report that.
Yeah, so did we have a chance to get any of those brown spots painted this few
I have
days?
to go back
Okay.
and walk through and look.
Yeah.
As of Friday, some of them had not, but there was still water coming in other places, so.
Right. That we just kind of started here and made our way around the whole entire school. The kitchen, locker rooms, just ideas going forward, you know, what kind of facelift, what kind of can wait. I think the ceiling's probably, you know, number one on the list to get all that looking nice. How
It wasn't terrible though, on the few spots.
We walked through, I think it was really nice for Steve and I to walk through, especially with Jason, since Jason's been on the committee, so he knows where a lot of where the projects have been and what we're kind of looking to for the future. Having Lawrence in the shop area with us to go over kind of what he has seen and what his ideas are was super helpful also. So just being able to have that conversation with the people that are actually using the spaces and what their ideas are, I think is giving us a lot of input for moving forward with working with DLR. We talked a lot about how to, like, obviously when we met on last Monday, it was raining, so we didn't get to spend much time outside, but it was also kind of nice because we got to see all of the drainage problems. So there were some leaks in the ceilings, the different things that were popping up, which of course is a bummer, but they're getting those addressed as soon as they find them. But being able to see, like, that the water is literally, when we have monsoon rains, then it runs in the door. Like, how do we address that? How do we fix it? What do we do here? So being able to see that was helpful. So I think the big thing for us was it gives us an idea of what we need to talk about, what we need to tell DLR, what our focus is. And I think that's going to speed the process up a lot of knowing, like, we know these are issues, so this is what we want to look at, instead of kind of not wasting our time, but trying to kind of him-hawing around on what we think is important. We know what's important. We obviously don't want water. Cool.
Well, in the football field, we've been over that. We've gotten bids to redo the parking lot and change that, but it always seems so expensive. And then, but there's always a problem where water runs into that building. And I, you know,
I talked to
They're
one of the employees that
prioritized.
day, he's like, oh, it's not too bad today. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
so it's like, yeah, it needs to be fixed, but when you spend whatever the last one was, $70,000, $80,000 or $50,000 or whatever it was, it's like, is it that bad yet? I mean, so I guess I don't know if we need to take that completely off the list, you know, to do the parking lot, but, you know.
Trying to look at what are, so we also talked a bit about, like, we saw a bunch of storage spaces back a couple years ago when they took out the pillars. Those spaces now are there, but they're not really usable. Like, we're in using,
it.
yeah,
There's
they're
a-
being used, but it's still really hard to use them.
Yeah.
So how do we make those more usable spaces? How do we utilize them better? Those are things that we talked about also, of trying to figure out how do we take away or, not take away space from the kids by having storage spaces, but use our storage spaces better to then be able to make more space for learning. So all things that we're gonna be hopefully going over with DOR very soon. But it was really good to go through the building, the
It
entire
was
building.
very, very helpful for me since I was not a high school or anyone student here. So I got to see every nook and cranny of it. And as we, like you're saying, we talked a lot about spaces that exist now,
Yes.
how they can be repurposed. So we're not changing a footprint. There's not new construction.
Mhm.
There's a reimagining of the space we have or inside the footprint, certain, courtyards and, this little, it's not being utilized now. How can we do it for lesser cost than trying to come up with an entire new, because every time we add the roof, we gotta have the storm and everything else.
Yep.
So
One
there's
like
a-
the,
there's a huge additional cost to that. So
like the gas lines just in the boiler room, yeah, they do need to be moved, but if we're gonna try and do something with the shop in the courtyard, to expand for whatever, welding, wood, it's hard to move them now, all the way against the back wall. If something's gonna be changed there later on, you don't wanna do the work twice, so.
Mhm.
Yeah, having an overall view so we get more of a comprehensive plan with the existing footprint when we do meet with them will be very helpful.
It was a good meeting.
Oh,
And we were here for a long time.
Yeah.
Almost 3 hours.
Yeah,
It was, yeah.
it's great.
Good too, strong too.
I would have exaggerated. Probably 4.
You're probably right. Finance committee, we prior to the board meeting last week.
And then we met, a week ago.
Yes.
We went over athletics budget items, and our disciplinary, Jen went through and coded all the items athletics related that, so now she can just see what gets paid out to referees or umpires and what goes to equipment and what goes to fees. Did I miss a category there?
Officials and entry fees, things like that, and then the rest of it is those miscellaneous
Yep.
expenses, the supplies, the equipment, things like that, yeah.
So, we talked about the transfer there and then budgeting year to year we transferred, talked about, so it was a good conversation. So hopefully we'll have more data, so when we do that transfer, we can look in depth and see year to year down the road. Hey, referees were up 10% this year, or equipment costs were up 50% this year due to rise in football helmets or whatnot. So, and Dr. Lewis alluded to the all board budget meeting we had previous to this. 7.3 professional development sharing, Dr. Lewis.
I left this on here. I mean, the entire admin team, we were at admin days and I referenced a few things that we learned while I was there already. But primarily I left this on here, just to remind you, if you want to attend the area membership meeting. So far I've got Shannon and Cass and Chase registered. So that is on September 24th in Fremont. So if you want to attend that, let me know and I will get you registered. Check your calendars a little bit more. We do have quite a bit of time to get registered yet, but if you know, might as well.
Agenda item 8, new business. 8.1, discuss, consider, take necessary action to approve contract with Harbor Family Services for 2025-2026. So previously saw the usage report for this, our second highest year in the last 5 years we've had. So the attached just is standard contract with Harbor Family. Dr. Lewis.
Yeah, in this contract, so what it is, our family provides free services, usually typically 3 to 5 visits per occurrence for staff members, for students, for their family members. Employer assistance program here, and that's that free service for all of those people. So this costs us just about $9,000 a year. They bill that out in half, like first semester and second semester. And then, on-site service fees, it just has the per hour, so, excuse me, agrees up to 12 hours of on-site service provided each month, so that's a half a day, once a week. And I said she sees a lot of students, that is really helpful, and she does a nice job with those. So that's billed at $75 per hour throughout the school year, billed out on quarterly, I believe. All in all, this costs us a little less than $15,000 throughout the school year, but it's great service for our people.
Is it about the same, Dawn, from year to year?
Yeah, the cost has not gone up.
This is a yearly renewed contract.
Yes.
Did any of the nomenclature change we need to be made
No.
aware of?
No.
Okay. That's all I need to know.
A couple of years ago, they did change hands, they had new owners, but it was not an interruption to our services at all.
Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract with Arbor Family Services for the 2025-2026 school year.
Thank you, Councilman Shannon. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Let's vote.
Shannon Sharp,
Yes.
Cassie Fleischer,
Yes.
Jason Batterfield.
Yes.
Brian Mocker,
Yes.
Steve Slygas.
Aye.
He's a pirate.
Thanks for that. It's been. All right, motion passes. 8.2, discuss, consider, and take necessary action to approve contract with Reds to Wings for special education services for 2025-2026 school year. Obviously, we've partnered with Reds to Wings for a while now.
We have partnered with Red Strings for a while now. They, the past couple of years, they had partnered with ILC, which is Integrated Life Choices, to kind of be the intermediary. So some of the fees that we were billed were reimbursable for special education, and some of them were classified or considered as non-reimbursable fees. This year they gave us the options. They said if you would like, we could still continue with that contract with ILC, or we can contract directly with Roots to Wings. The difference in what was reimbursable versus non-reimbursable versus what would stay with Roots to Wings if we contacted directly with them, the amount was negligible. So we decided, well, Mrs. Sharp and I went down and visited with Mrs. Kylo at Roots to Wings, and we really feel strongly about that money staying with Roots to Wings and not going through that third party. They do get some reimbursement from ILC if we go through them, but the program in general benefits more if we directly contract with them. So that's how we would do that going forward this year. So it would be a contract directly with Roots to Wings. This would be for one student to be there 2 days a week and one student to be there 1 day a week.
So yeah, high level, the offset was what was reimbursable. It just made more sense to contract directly with them, and all our money go to the business here in town. And I think I don't know. I think everybody understands how good that program has been and how beneficial it is, especially to a lot of small towns that probably wish they had something like that. So good deal.
So Blair, it shouldn't say.
Yes, it will.
Yeah.
Okay, that was, I didn't know if we had some joint thing I was missing when I was. looking
No,
at it earlier.
they have contracts with other schools
Yeah,
as well.
okay.
So she sent me the generic, and I will get that changed to Arlington. And I'll get that to her.
Because this is beyond high school too, right? Kids.
Yes, the students can stick with this beyond high school, beyond their time with us, because then the transition of as farmers and young adults working in the program there. So this kind of gets them, it's great for them over their summer extended school year things, and it's great for building those employability or those life skills. Less about life skills and more about those employability skills, and giving them that, there's a certain a personal value that we feel when we've worked hard and we've accomplished something through work, and it gives those kids that opportunity to have that experience.
Well, and they got ice cream.
They do have ice cream.
I mean,
I will tell you, Mrs. Sharp and I went down, one of the farmers was coming in, she was checking in for the day, And I asked what she was going to be doing, and she said she was going to be making ice cream. And she said, but first I'm going to taste it. It was a wonderful conversation. I'm like, yes, we do need to taste it first.
Quality.
And she was serious as anything. She said, I'm going to need to taste it. But anyway, it's a great program.
Dr. Lewis, can you talk a little bit about the second attachment in there, just so there's no confusion?
So that it would be the ILC fee that they would charge us. So the first attachment is directly the contract with Roots to Wings, which is the $20 or $30 based on the needs of the student. And the second one is what ILC would charge us for those same students.
And then a portion,
Be reimbursable, and a large portion of it would not be reimbursable.
Mhm.
And what we will be paying Roots to Wings directly is proportionally less than non-reimbursable part of what ILC would charge us.
with that, I'll make a motion to approve the contract with Roots to Wings for special education services for 2025-2026 school year.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. You, Ryan, any further discussion? Let's vote.
Jason Earl,
Yes.
Cassie Fletcher,
Yes.
Chase Crowderville,
Yes.
Brian Baker, Keith Spiker,
Yes.
Shannon Womack. Yes.
All right, motion carries, and that brings us to our adjournment at 7:42 p.m.
I assume the budget meeting will take about 40 minutes.
I have full faith.
Well,
When I see it.
Yeah, exactly.